Okay, cool. So today we more like a practical session um, about transitioning from Dune to Flipside. So I think one thing that I would like to say quite early on the call, as much as possible, you could try to ask for questions. You could type it in the chat and all, because the conversation is broad. Flipside and Dune, they're just so broad. So and we're not able to meet everyone's specific need. So if at any point you could feel free to ask a question and I'll make out time to answer. So I'm just going to, start from like the basics and then try to level up so can carry everyone along. I think for some people, this will be their first time. Some people are actually even starting in blockchain data. Some people are just going to know Dune for the first time. So I think we have different audience at this point, but it's fine. So as much as possible, try to carry along and hopefully then over time have more sessions on this. So it's no news. Flipside Studio is shutting down so that I can focus on the MCP, which I think is also a good. It's a good next step for them. There's no point competing with Dune when you can't win. So why not just do something else? Um, so for our class today, our primary focus on is helping you understand Dune data. Then Dune data is structured a bit differently. So I'm just going to like help you understand it, show you how data is organized on Dune and probably how you can find your way around Dune data, right? Then the next thing will be mapping, some data, like most common data points, we have on Flipside and on Dune. So there are just a few of them that we could check through and, let's say you're looking for, um, the DEXs table on or DEX swaps table on Flipside. Where can you find it on Dune, right? And the next one, look at using Dune SQL because the SQL flavor used on Dune is a bit different. So there are just a few, little changes or things you need to be aware of when you're using writing SQL on Dune, and a simple session on migrating dashboard from Dune to Flipside, from Flipside to Dune, and resources that could help you, learn better and Q&A. So having said that, I mean, like you all know, data has to flow on Dune now. Our mantra at Dune is let the data flow. So on a lighter note, welcoming all of you to become Dune wizards, where we make the data world flow. All right, so let's get started. Understanding Dune data. So Dune actually organizes the data a bit differently than um, Flipside. So in Dune, there are about three categories of data. You have the raw data, you have the decoded data, and then the curated data. Okay. Which, like in Flipside, we have it as the dimensions, then the facts, and then the easy table is the convenience tables on Flipside, right? But then on Dune data, the raw data, you know, they extract data directly from the blockchain. So when you are looking at raw data on Dune, you're looking at things like blocks, transactions and logs. So these are um, data that are fetched directly from the blockchain. Like there's no pre-processing that has been done on it. It's just the way it is from the blockchain that it's stored. So assuming you want to look at Ethereum the blocks, so it contains information about every block on Ethereum, right? Or transactions shows information about transactions executed on Ethereum, and like any blockchain that you're looking at, then if it's logs, so in this case, you are looking at what are the event logs, events emitted, and all that, and then even traces data. So you find them under the raw data sections of Dune, right? Then Dune also has what we call the decoded data. So the decoded data is information extracted from raw data. So what I mean is this: because like in raw data now, right? You can find events like transfer, and that's like an event in the midst of many events or midst of many event logs. So what you do in decoded data is now to extract the transfer data, and then decode it so that you don't need to query the whole raw data table on Dune for transfers. It's already been decoded. So that's why you find things like um, transfers, transfer logs or transfer tables, right? Because they've been decoded from what? The raw data. Then there's also the curated data. So these are like I would say like intentionally curated. So in Dune, curated data are those specific data that, let's say, the team have pre-built. Why? Because they are like most commonly used data. So when you see things like dex.traits, so dex.traits, instead of you going to Ethereum, Solana, Ethereum, maybe base to find all the trade events, you could just use the curated data to find them. So things you find in curated data like dex.trades, NFT.trades, and a few of all those things, yeah. So I'm just going to switch to Dune now so I can um so I'll just switch to Dune so I can just show you these tables as they work, okay? All right. So this is what I mean, yeah, so these are like Dune homepage looks like. First thing first, we start on new query. So this will help us see the data. So when you come on Dune, so I've heard a lot of people say that Dune this thing is not it's confusing and all. Don't worry, you understand it. Okay, you get it over time. But first of all, so when you come on Dune, the first thing you usually see is like the data. Once you creates query, so you find the data explorer. So on that data explorer, you have curated data. So remember I mentioned curated data to you, right? There's my data. These are like your own specific data. Then there's blockchain. These are raw data. Then community data is curated data. Sorry, it's decoded data. Now let's start from the first one. Um, I mentioned raw data, right? So these like raw blockchain data. Um, for like different individual blockchains that we have. So you have Ethereum, Solana, Stacknet, Base, and all. Now, zooming into like Ethereum now, so you find blocks, locks, traces, and what transactions and withdrawals. Now, I want to say something. In the mapping, I noticed that most data in raw data, like most data in Flipside's fact table. You say you can't see my screen. Is it just you? Is it that it's too small or what? You can't see it at all. Someone else confirm, please. See that it's too small. Oh, okay. Let me reshare then. Okay, someone can see. Is it too small? Can you see it now? All right, thank you. Okay, so most information you find on Flipside fact table, you can find them on Dune's raw data table. Okay, so things like Ethereum.logs, things like blocks, traces, transaction. So assuming we want to find a transaction that happened on Ethereum, maybe just the first five transactions that happened on Ethereum today. Okay, so this Okay. So one thing to notice, because of how Dune has a lot of things happening on the distance, so most I have to zoom in, zoom out to see anything. So for this one, I just wanted to query um 5 transactions that happened on Ethereum in the last 24 hours. I know that this is something you find in fact.ethereum. I think that's transaction on Flipside, right? So this is how to get it on Dune. So most so they this is what you have like for raw blockchain data, depending on what you want. So you have the logs, you have the traces, you have the transactions and all. I think previously for our advanced master class, the analytics area advanced master class, we looked at how to work with raw blockchain data on Dune. So I think you could get the pre-recording or something, depending on, reach out to Apostle and see the modalities for that, okay? Now let's go back to Data Explorer. So that's it for raw blockchain data. So next thing we mentioned under Dune data, understanding the data is what? Decoded projects. All right. So under decoded projects, now these decoded projects are usually it could be most of them are specific information about projects that either done by the team or whoever. So for instance, now if you're analyzing Uniswap, so there's this decoded project. So like Uniswap, Victory has been decoded. Many like factory pairs, Victory, Uniswap, Victory, just anything. So assuming you want to um, look at specific projects, like not on chains and not on like raw blockchain, you can now come to the coded project, just search it out. If it's Uniswap, just search Uniswap under V3. So these are like the different contracts that have been decoded. Okay, so we're under Uniswap V3. You could click on this now, then okay, you find different tables. So under Uniswap V3, you focus on the factory section, then there are different tables that you can find under Uniswap V3 factory. So if you want to analyze the number of pools that are created on Uniswap V3, you just click on this and then query the specific, ask the specific number of pools. So you can just count the number of pools here. If you want to find the owner, okay, these are functions, right? So the main thing is pool created. Then there's pair. You want to analyze number of pairs. Uniswap V3 pairs. You can check this out. The swap, it means the bond and the event and all. So that's it like for the decoded project. So assuming, for instance, okay, yeah. So like I said, this coded project, it could be done by the DN team or like individual teams, right? So in my particular case, this super chain project, so like a project I'm working with. So I kind of did the decoded project for this, like decoded the contract on Dune. So anytime I want to track the number of badges or event, minted and all, I just come here. So all I'm saying is when you're analyzing a project, okay, you may not find the data like on the raw blockchain section. You could search it out under the decoded projects. Someone or maybe the team would have decoded it, so you can easily start from there. So most projects, you will often find them decoded. All right, most projects. If they are not decoded, so what you do is, if they are not decoded, there's a space for, okay, when you come to library, there's a place for submit contracts rather. Yeah, there's a place for submit contract. I think I'll show you, if it's helpful, I could show you that. Just that doing this thing, they hide too much. Yeah, but you can easily submit the contract for decoding and then they'll decode it for you. Okay. All right, then the last data type, data sections on Dune is what? Curated data. So curated data simply talks about, these are what are called spells. So remember, Dune uses terminologies like witches and wizard. Their sons are a Dune wizard, only which they use that language, but that's Dune. So because they use terms like wizard and all, So that's why we call this one spells. A wizard uses cast spells. So these spells are like um curated tables. Most times it's usually the Dune team or core contributors. So you can contribute to you can contribute to spell book. So it's called spell book, yeah. But it's usually this is so spell books curated data is maintained by Dune team. All right, it's maintained by like the Dune team. So here is what I mean. Most information that cuts across the different chains, you usually like find them under the curated tables. So for instance, when you want to analyze tokens, okay, under tokens here, there's token transfer, ERC 20 tokens, transfer, different distinct. So you want to analyze the token transfers, you can get them from here under curated tables, but then filter based on the particular chain you're looking for. So you want to track the transfer of all kinds of fungible tokens across EVM networks. Okay. So that's it for tokens. Then there's DEXs. So DEXs does trades. For instance, you want to analyze the I know most people that are like analyzing DeFi and DEXs, this is somewhere you have to keep your eye on well. So there's DEXs dot trade if you want to analyze trades on DEXs. If you want to analyze pools, right? Sandwich, raw pools, addresses, liquidity, and all of that. Depending on what you want to analyze, you can find them here. But two most important ones here are dex.trade and then what dex.pools. You want to analyze the different pools for particular what projects, yeah. Then there's labels. There's another very important one is prices. So this is where you find different prices. So as you want to find the price of Ethereum now, you just come under the prices table. USD latest is like now. USD daily, day, minutes, just different depending on what you'd want. But yeah, you usually find them here. So prices and all. Um, so essentially, so first thing first, whenever you want to do anything on, I know there's 1,001 data tables or what you will need, but one thing to do whenever you want to do anything, first thing you can just come here and search, okay? So you can just, if it's like Uniswap, you can just come here and search Uniswap, and then it will now show you the different sources of tables we have like for Uniswap. So as you can see, there's data for Uniswap trades, V3 trades, yeah. I mean, if you want to focus on a particular like V3 now, so the data for Uniswap V3, most of them are under spells, but there's also one for decoded. So yeah, decoded, and all. So whenever you see this, wand, that's like the spell. And then these ones are like decoded projects, under decoded projects. Same thing with these ones, right? So just start out searching whatever it is you need. You can just search it out here. Okay. I mean, if there's any specific thing, I mean, now we are talking about this, you want to know, you could just ask and I'll try. Okay, so there's this interesting thing that Dune has. There's this interesting thing Dune has. Yeah. I mean, but that's primarily like for if you're like on pro accounts. So okay, yeah. So if you're looking for a particular table, okay, if like you're on pro, I have a pro here, so I'll just show you this. I don't know, maybe there's any particular table anyone wants to query. I could just ask Dune AI and it's gonna like show us relevant tables, right? So in this case, I want to analyze let me say Uniswap hooks, right? Hooks. So with Uniswap, I mean with this Dune AI search feature, it's going to search all relevant tables that has this Uniswap. I mean where you can find information on Uniswap hook. Okay, I think I would yeah, it's taking a bit while to do that. Does anyone have any question on this before? So these are like, I mean, using the Dune AI, sha. So these are related tables. Yeah, it's a new update. It's a new update. Primary for now, it's still available for pro accounts. So that's where you can find it. So you see, like with this AI feature, right? I mean, anything. So it's showing you all Uniswap uh related data, all the data's on curate on spell tables that's curated, right? Then decoded tables, and yeah, there's nothing on raw because Uniswap like not a blockchain, so that's why. Okay, but yeah, let's go back to our analyst mode. All right. Okay, so hope that's clear for us. All right, so next thing we're going to look at mapping, some Dune, some Flipside data to Dune. So for instance, like I said, most if you notice now, if in Flipside they are using fact.event logs, on Dune it will be Ethereum.logs. Okay. If you are using fact transactions table on Flipside, on Ethereum, it's now on Dune, it's Ethereum.transactions. I mean, whatever chain you are looking at it from, that's it. Um, then easy dex swaps table on Dune, it's what dex.traits. So I'm assuming you want to analyze dex swap events. So on Dune, it's called dex.traits, yeah. And this is a spell is under the spell book, the curated data. So that's where you're gonna find this information, yeah. Same thing, easy token transfers. It's also like a spell. It's a spell on Dune that it contains information about all ERC20 token transfer what events, right? Same thing with easy NFT mints. Easy NFT mints, right? Easy price. Now, I think one thing I'm noticing is this facts, data that is on facts, right? On Flipside, you usually find them on raw data on Dune. Okay. Now, data that is on easy on Flipside, you find it on what? Curated data in Dune. Do you understand that? Do you get that? Yeah. And then the decoded table, those are like community driven, and that's it. Okay. So and then some dimension tables too, you can find them on decoded table. So depending on, if you're so used to the flip side scheme, and that's just a mental model. So if you have a data on a fact or event, you're looking to find information, try to focus on the raw data section of the, you'll find it. If it's under easy tables on flip side, check like the curated data on Dune, you'll find it there. And yeah, even the dimensions tables too, you find them there. I've also attached a link that can help you understand Dune data segmentation very well, right? Okay, so I don't know if there's any question on that so far. Hope you understand the mental model I gave you. Fact table, you map it to raw table. Fact data, map it to raw data. Easy data, map it to curated data on Dune and stuff like that. All right. Now, next thing, having understood, at least now, hopefully you have some basic idea of how how data is organized on Dune, right? Next thing you'd want to know is writing the queries on Dune, because Dune uses Dune SQL, which is based on Trino, while Flipside uses Snowflake SQL, right? Intrinsically they are same thing, just a little tweak and adjustment in how the queries are written. Yeah, just a few things, just a few things to be careful about when you're writing queries on Dune. And I'm just going to show us like a few of them and hope that helps us. Now, um, I mean, Flipside is this Snowflake SQL. Why Dune uses Dune SQL based on trend, right? The other thing to notice that in Dune, um, in Dune, addresses are binaries. Okay, they are considered variable binaries, binaries. But then Snowflake treats them as what strings. So that's why you see that in Flipside, when you're writing address, you have to put a a hyphen, yeah, hyphen, right? On in between the addresses. But in Flipside, you don't use that. You just use them straight. Like you just write the address. You're not quoting it. You're not using any quotes on it. Do you get? Now, another difference is that in Flipside, that's Snowflakes. When you are doing casting, you use these two dots, these two colon, right? Like you write your dates, then you write your colon, then you do like double colon, then dates. That brings that makes that does the cast, right? But in Dune, you'd have to write cast this as this. So for instance, you have to write do cast the date as what date for it to work. You don't just write it. The double colon thing does not work on Dune. So you have to be careful about that as well. Then a few things, when you are doing for more complex things like in snowflakes, if you are using JSON, in snowflakes, you have to like use a single colon for mapping keys and strings in JSON. But then in Dune, you have to use JSON extracts for that. Um, I mean, you don't use it every day, but whenever you get, just keep this in mind whenever you have to use it. Then array flattening. So Snowflakes uses flatten, lateral flatten, but then Dune uses honest. Yeah. So sometimes you want to access some JSON file, you have to like use lateral flatten so that the JSON can be converted into map or something, or different arrays rather. But for Dune, you'd have to use honest. So honest will, take the JSON data file and turn them into what arrays. Okay. Then snowflakes, that's Flipside thingy. They use qualify, row number over this one. But Dune wouldn't necessarily use qualify. So you just use your Windows function. I mean directly like that without so much English. Okay. So for instance, um, I mean, like I said in the transaction thing, if we run this query on Dune, what do you think? Do you think it's going to work? I mean, someone should reply. If we run this query on Dune, would they run? And like, why? I mean, you could type in the chat. So if we run this query now on Dune, would you run? Okay, so Kingston says it's not going to run because of the quotes, right? Yes, I mean, is the code by the addresses? It's not going to run because, I mean, in Dune, you don't need to use the quotes. It can just run that way, okay? So for instance, let me see. Okay. All right, so here it is, okay? Let me see. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. It's supposed to be two. Sorry. Okay, so if you read this, you see that um it's saying line this cannot because you're applying binary to varchar, right? So what that means is it's not gonna work because um the to address is actually a binary and this has to be what? Binary. So removing it is gonna make it work. So you see now it has worked, okay? Oh yeah, that's it on that. Then like I said, in snowflakes, you do double colon and then it's class, but in Dune, you have to like specify it the way it is, all right? Yeah. So I wanted to see how we can I want to track this DEX trading volume on Flipside. I mean this is a term, yeah, it's a DEX trading volume on Ethereum. So I want to this is what the query is on Flipside, but I want to um write it on Dune and see how it goes. Okay. All right. So one sec. All right. So I'm just going to copy this, move it to Dune, then we'll just try to rewrite it. Okay. So this is what this query is. That's from Flipside. This is how it's written in Flipside, but it's definitely not going to work. So what do? We are going to uncomment it rather, and then try to write it again. Okay. So um, instead of using block timestamp colon date as date, what do? We can do words cast. Okay, yeah, we'll just use date trunk instead. Okay, date trunk date because the essence of this cast this as date is to be able to get them like in days. I think an alternative is to use date trunk so it comes out in dates. Or rather, let me just use cast block time as dates. Okay. So another thing with some. Oh, sorry. So here's first thing when you're querying in Dune or doing anything. First of all, try and locate the data you are using first, because the data structure or the column tables may be different. I was making the mistake of just writing amount USD. So first thing first, what data are we looking at here? This is a term dot called EZ DEX swap, right? And like I said, because it's easy table on Flipside, so it's likely going to be in what curated table on what Dune, right? So I could just come here, all curated tables, now go on that dexes because it's dex swaps, right? Now the thing is this: instead of dex swaps, Dune name the own as what dex trade. All right. So dex trades, okay. So what columns do we want? We want the block time. We want the block time, and then we want the what? The amount USD. So what do? Cast block time as dates. Okay, just write it. And then we like using this. Then we do some as volume, right? So where is selected from? So our focus is on Ethereum trading volume. From this, where remember for this particular one, we are focused on Ethereum. This the DEX was trade contains trading volume of all many EVM chains. So since we want to focus on Ethereum, we have to do what? Where blockchain equal to Ethereum, and we do the time greater than equal to what? Cast 20. Let's start from January. Okay. Okay. So as you well know, Dune uses credits, and if you're free tier, it could take a long while for your this thing to run. But yeah, so here is the data we are looking for, right? So you can easily plot this on a chart. So this is the Ethereum trading volume from January 2025. I'm not exactly sure. So we see an outlier here on February 3rd. It's worth knowing what happened to this thing. But yeah, I hope this helps, right? The most important thing is um the cast function, instead of using the double colon thingy, right? This is how you do it on Dune. Okay. Another way too for this date thing could be you can use this particular one, date trunk. You see it mainly. Okay, I think it's still available on Flipside as well. Block time, right? So it's still going to give you the same thing. Okay. Um yeah, it's still gonna give us like same thing. So at this point, I wanted to, so do you have like maybe a specific question or something? Do you have like any specific questions? So for the final distance, I'm going to try to, okay, yeah, Kingsley, go on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, please. I wanted to ask. In Flipside, the comma sign, like after every data, like let's say after block timestamp comma. I don't know. I noticed your comma was after the date by the other side. I don't really
Okay,
understand why the comma is.
okay. All right. So the thing is in code, like in writing code, yeah, there's the left comma group and the right comma group. So for some reason I'll join the left comma group because it feels a lot more neater to me and it's easier to identify where errors are. So it's just a writing style thing. Okay. I mean, some people prefer to use it on the right. It's going to be the same thing if I put it here. You can see, right? But I actually do prefer, if I put it here, it's going to run and give me same results. Like you see, it's going to give us some, there's nothing. But I do prefer it from here. One, it just appears neater to me. And then if there's any error, it's easier for me to like trace where it is. So it's just the thing about left comma and right comma, just writing style, nothing else. Um, there was just one quote. There was even an article about it. And I think more people are aligning to left comma now, Sha. So I think I could, share the thing with him. It's just a bit neater, and then maybe easier for someone to read your code, right? Hope that's clear.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. So um so I think the primary thing we are always looking for is the main thing here at this point is, oh, how do I like move my Flipside data to dashboard to Dune and all. So disclosure, most of my works are on Dune because I just like Dune. I didn't know this was even going to happen till I started building. And I built on Dune. But I remember 2023 when I started, I have some this thing on Flipside. So maybe I will just show you if I were to move this to Dune, what I would do at this point. Okay. So for this particular analysis, I built a dashboard for Sushi Swap, you know, unique transactions, unique addresses, daily transactions, daily USD volume, top, and all of that. So I'm just going to, try to move a few of them to Dune. It's more like writing the query sharp based on this thing that I've taught you all, yeah? So um, this is what the query looks like on Flipside, yeah? So maybe just for ease, like just save us time, I'm just going to copy it. I'm just going to copy it, put it here. Twice. I'm seeing what I'm writing. It's easier, sure. So what do you do? Select, yeah, I prefer writing select. I'm trying to, the query I'm writing is to do what? Count transactions, sushi swap transactions in February 2023, yeah? So simple, select, first of all, from usually first thing first in anything is find the table where you'd want to get the data from. So in this sense now, I'm looking at sushi swap. So sushi swap, right? It's under the dex swaps table. So first thing I'll just come here and start dex. No much overthinking, just start dex. So I see dex.trade here, right? So I know that it's under dex.trade, okay? I'm trying to count the number of transactions that happen. So I know it's going to be, I'm just going to count the transaction hash. So count transaction hash, right? Okay, as CXN, all right? From dex.trable sushi swap, where this sushi swap now needs sushi swap, okay? Sorry, where a project is sushi swap, okay? And blockchain, because this is sushi swap table on Ethereum. Ethereum, yeah. What again? Okay, for February, and then block time. Block time is between two dates as this 2023 and past. Okay. All right. So I think this should serve now. Okay. So the data is here. So the total transactions of total transactions on Sushi Swap for February 2023, according to Dune data, is 267,000. Oh, okay. The daily distinct transaction, interesting. So it said 239,620. So let me see what I have for Flipside. Flipside is showing me um 247,000. Okay. So I'll just take it that, it's what happened. Maybe it depends on how they are getting their data. But this is it, right? Like this is it. This is what I will go for. Okay. All right. This is it. So first thing is just to save this. So I'll just save this. I really don't need it, but I'm just gonna save it. So I'm just gonna save it. It's taking a little while to save. Um, Let me just go to the next query while it's saving, actually, so that will save time. Not sure why it's taking all the time, but saving it now becoming headache. I'm just going to, okay. All right, so it's saved now. So if I want to build it into a dashboard, I'm just going to do counter. That's counter is something as large number on flip side. So swaps on sushi swap, yeah. Yeah, swap transactions. So just add to dashboard. Okay, so sushi swap. So I'm adding it already to this dashboard. Okay. So next part is I want to find the unique addresses. So I could just open this query. This right now, because of how one, if you really want to move your queries from okay, this one is a daily transaction. It's not supposed to be much. It just simply, if I want to do daily transaction now, I could just fork this particular query. All right. And then add for daily transactions. So if I fork this particular query, so I'll just do date trunk, clock time, okay? All right, so I'm getting this now. These daily transactions, all right? So these daily transactions in 2023, 23, yeah? So I can easily save it as well. So we just name. Okay, yeah, just to add to, I mean, in case when you are labeling on Dune, this is like the chart, then this is where you want, if you want to put the title, okay. Assuming this chart has two distinct, you have like enable stacking here, if it's relevant for you. Here, if you want to change the color, you come, this is where you change it, yeah. This is where you change the color. So this is where, assuming you want to change the color of this thing, you can come here to change it to whatever you want. So you see that you've been able to change the color, right? So you can easily add it to your dashboard, which in this case, I've already added it. Okay. But yeah, you just like been able to like play around it. Then for this particular query, so I've been able to like move two of it. Like this USD volume as well. It's very much possible. You can, move it as well. Um, I think this is actually a basic query, actually. Exactly like this dashboard is very simple and basic. But let's assume that you have a long query that you may not writing it may take a lot of time. Like how would you rather approach it? So if I had like a very big long query that I want to move, okay, then in this case I may have to like use AI and then use something like ChatGPT to like do the migration. Now, first things first, I have to get the query from Dune, from Flipside rather. So this is the query on Flipside, okay? Then second thing I will need is I'll come to Dune and then find the table that I need. So the table that has those information. So this one now, I want to find um, the unique addresses and active addresses, from these pools, yeah, or whatever it is. First thing first, I know that this information is in the dot traits table on Dune, right? So what would I do? I'll have to locate the dex table. Sorry, then I'll come here, locate the dex dot traits table, right? Okay, here, right? Now on in Dune, there's something called Markdown. Markdown means that if you do copy Markdown, okay, Markdown will collect all the information here, the data type and everything. So it's easier for you to use it like maybe in LLM models. So for instance now, um, I'll just paste it here just to demonstrate actually. So you see blockchain, so the table is dex.trade, schema, name, type, blockchain is a string, block date, timestamp and all of this. Now what will I do? I mean, first thing is to give the AI model like context, right? So I want to migrate some query from from Flipside to Dune. Okay, kindly note the following. Flipside is this snowflakes, while Dune is built on Trino Trino SQL. Okay. Then I would add the context like this. Let me get one of these things that I mentioned. Okay, this thing, right? I'll add a context like this. So, here are some, here are further difference in, the way to inquiries. Okay. All right, so after this now, so yeah, okay, then I think one other, okay, yep, let's have this now. So just, at least you give it context. So I'm just gonna try this to see. Um it may not always be 100%, but it gives you a basis, right? Now convert this query to Dune using or following the table mark now provided. Now I've already included the Flipside query, yeah? But next thing I'm going to do is to include the markdown, okay? Copy the markdown, right? Include it so that it's now the essence is so that it's going to understand what each like now the query from Flipside, it wants the goal is converted to Dune, right? But providing this markdown will help it know, okay, what to match what against. So it knows that at least it's under decks of trades in Dune. It's under decks.trades in Dune. And then these are the corresponding, columns that it's required. So let's just see how it's going to come out though. Okay, cool. So it's writing the this thing just to be sure. All right. So okay. So it's written this already now, right? Let's try and let's query this and see how it comes up. All right. So you see the results are in now, right? Can you see? Yeah, so I mean, with using ChatGPT, we were able to like just write out the query by providing context, adding the Flipside query and then the Dune markdown, right? And so now we have this, the results here. Okay. So that's like essentially how you're able to do it. So now I could easily save this, add it to my dashboard. Um, let me I didn't use my account for this. Yeah. So I'm just gonna save this. Never exactly sure where it's saving. So let me just save it to my account and I used. So that's the query here. So you can, follow this format or this method to, query every other distance you want. So first thing first is just being able to understand how Dune data is structured. Provide, if the query is so much, you could provide context AI and then help you rewrite the query. Yeah. I mean, where it makes mistake, you can, correct it and all of that. Yeah. I think one thing to note as well, for some reason, I don't know why, but it feels like Dune data and um, Dune data and Flipside, they are not like fetching from the same side because I mean the results seem a bit different. So I'm not exactly sure why, but I think the most important thing that the process works. It works and that's it. Okay. So um they have already, shown you how to move your distance. So these are like a few resources that could help you. There's actually like an official migration guide on Dune website you can access. It's going to like show you in more details most of the things that we've mentioned and taught here. So um so it's reading up. But yeah, you could now drop in your questions if you have any. Okay, yeah, so there's an official guide from Dune that could help you with migration things. But the most important thing, like I've said, understanding Dune table, the SEO thing, you'll be able to like figure it along the way and every other thing in between. Okay? Yes, please. I think yeah, the recording should be made available. Yeah, the recording. But yeah, so now you can yeah, you'll be able to get the recording. So someone is asking, so you could drop your questions, or if you have any, you could raise up your hand and ask questions. Yeah. Let me I'm trying to show you how to submit a contract for the coding now. So let's say I'm on my account now and I want to submit a contract. I'm just not going to save this now. Um okay, so here, right? Contracts. So you can click contracts. So I've submitted a couple of contracts. So what you do when you want to submit a contract for the coding for the person that asks, you come to your Dune profile, you click on the settings, come under library, okay? Then you select contracts. And under contract, if you have, you would see. But if nothing, you can do add contracts. So if you want to add contracts, you're going to select the chain you want to add the contract to. If it's on Ethereum, okay, you can add Ethereum, enter the contract address. So in this case, let me just use something from Etherscan. There's this token, this USDT. I know it's already been submitted, but just to show you. Okay. So it's loading, pulling up information about the particular project. Okay, so you see that this particular one has already been decoded, right? It's under factory decoded, like it's been decoded. But assuming it's not decoded, or if I want to redecode it for any reason, I could just submit a reason for decoding, and then they are going to attend to it. But if it's not been decoded, you just submit, and within 24 hours, it will be decoded for you. All right? So any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. So I'll take the silence that there's no more questions, right? I think in due time, possibly we made this the recording available, like the slide or whatever. But um, if there's any question, I think I'll give the next 1 minute or so. But if not, I think that's fine. So